Espertise. She spelt the word for the third time. It didn't sound like any word in the English language. Heaving with frustration, she dropped the letter from the tax office and quickly typed the word on her tablet. Expertise. The text-to-speech app called. Gosh! Ada uttered, gently tapping her head with her palm. Will I ever get over this condition? She thought aloud. Looking into space, her mind went back to her section with a therapist. Pastor Joke had taken her to one after she noticed her struggles with reading and writing. The therapist, sitting behind his huge desk, had asked her to pronounce some words in the English language. It was embarrassing that at 23, she still found it difficult to differentiate D from B and W from M. After the examination, they had turned to Pastor Joke. She has a learning condition called dyslexia. Dyslexia? Pastor Joke echoed. Yes, dyslexia is a learning disorder that involves difficulty in reading due to problem in identifying speech sounds and decoding or learning how they relate to words and letters. It is referred to as a reading disability. Dyslexia is a result of individual differences in areas of the brain that processes language. So when can she begin to learn to read and write well? Pastor Joke asked with concern. Ada was listening with rapt attention. She desperately wanted to know how to overcome this disability that plagued her all her life and had made her the black sheep of her family. Clearing his throat loudly, the therapist sat forward. There's no cure for dyslexia, but with the right teaching aid and support, dyslexics can overcome their difficulties and achieve great things, he said, to the disappointment of both ladies. Looking sympathetically at Ada, whose head was now bowed, he continued, don't be discouraged. Many dyslexic people learn to cope with their difficulties. They make good use of their areas of strength and become very successful and fulfilled individuals. People like Richard Branson, Whoopi Goldberg, Walt Disney are examples of dyslexics who are very successful and fulfilled individuals. Adad nodded in dejection. Dr. Nguto looked at the young lady with compassion. You must have noticed the symptoms before now. Have you ever had her assessed before? He said, staring at Pastor Joke. Pastor Joke sighed, as she didn't want him to know the relationship between both of them. But what are the symptoms we were supposed to look out for? Pastor Joke asked, out of curiosity. There are quite a lot of them. Some of them include reading below the expected level for their age, problems in processing and understanding what is heard, difficulty finding the right word or forming answers to questions, problems remembering the sequence of things, spelling difficulties, etc. There are a lot of them, actually. Ada's phone rang, and she snapped out of her thoughts. She quickly realized that her receptionist had called in sick earlier in the day and hurriedly got up. But seriously, why should I be the one booking the cakes anyway? But they murmured as he got out of his sports utility van in front of the two-story mall in Okelewo. He shut the door a little harder than he should and had a prompt in his spirit. Okay, Holy Spirit, I am sorry that I'm grumpy, but can you please just let my sisters know that I'm no longer their 5-year-old little brother again, he muttered under his breath, glancing at the cloud. He took some long strides from the car park to the mall, his eyes sweeping one end of the mall to the other in search for the cake shop. Finally, he found the large, beautiful and well-crafted signage of the confectionery store. On board display was Oasis. Yes, that's the name, he said a bit excitedly as he retrieved his phone from his pocket. He unlocked it to check the WhatsApp group chat with his sisters, sighed as he climbed the stairs to the shop situated on the first floor. Opening the glass door carefully, he peeped inside before stepping fully into the cool, air-conditioned showroom. Wow, just what I needed, Bode exclaimed as the cool air in the room smooshed his face. The scent of the confectionaries on display tantalized his nostrils as he quickly observed that there was no one at the front desk. "Hello, is anyone here?" His voice reverberated across the room. He called out again, but got a deafening silence in response. So who opens a business of this size without a staff to man the front desk? He soliloquized, glancing at the tastefully set up room with cakes and snacks on display. He got out his phone, recorded and sent a murmur of disapproval to his siblings on WhatsApp. "Sis, I am at the cake store, but there's no one in sight. Mission aborted." He heaved a sigh of relief. His sisters weren't having any of that as his phone rang almost immediately. It was Damisi. Gosh. He groaned just before he answered the call. "Hello, Damisi, how may I help you?" It was cold. "Not if I can help you first." Like Bode, how can you say you saw no one to attend to you in Oasis? But they fear God now. "Damisi, are you insinuating I'm lying?" he asked, hyped. Damisi quickly realizing that he wasn't happy about her response, feigned coughing. "No, I'm sorry it came out like that. But are you sure you are in the right place?" "Yes, madam, I am in the right place, ma." "Bode, it is ever no more on Okelewo. Oasis Bakery is very easy to locate. Just get there, they will show you what cake designs they have. Take and send pictures. That's all." Bode was squealing with a feminine pitch in absolute mockery. She cracked up. "Bode, you a clown. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me call them." That's better. He had barely made his statement when someone called out to him. She had emerged from the door from behind the receptionist's desk. He turned sharply to see a tall, dark lady dressed in a chef's top, black pants, and a smile. "Good morning, sir." Finally. "Good morning." He walked to the table that ran from one end of the wall to the other, dividing the staff section of the room from the bigger space that held tables and chairs for customers. "I'm so sorry, sir. I hope you haven't been waiting for too long." "Long enough to know my sisters must be biased to insist on Oasis cakes." Oh, I'm so sorry," she said, holding her palms together for emphasis. "The receptionist called in sick and we couldn't find a replacement because everyone is busy in the kitchen," she said, pointing towards the door she emerged. "That's not good enough. I could have picked any of the cakes and left." He was smiling to let her know it was a joke. "No, you won't. Our display shelves have alarms," she chuckled. "Really?" He glanced at the display shelves. "Why didn't you put the same alarm on the door? At least you will hear from the kitchen when someone enters the showroom." That makes some sense. Thank you. Although this place is always manned, we could also put a doorbell just as you suggested. Thanks for the piece of advice." She was wearing a broad smile, revealing her perfect white dentition, which was in sharp contrast with her pretty dark skin face. "So, sir, welcome to Oasis Cakes. My name is Ada. How may I help you?" She quickly got into her former cloak. "Oh yes, you can call me Bode. I was sent here by the Three Musketeers. They say you make the best cakes, not only in Abeokuta, but in the whole of southwestern Nigeria, Africa, and in the whole world." It was intentionally comical and got Ada cracking up, but they observed how her face took on a childlike beauty as she laughed out. After a few seconds, she tried regaining back control. "I'm sorry, but that was really funny." She was trying hard to get a rein on her laughter. "I just got an impression that you don't care much for all the accolades from the Three Musketeers, even if I was baking for the galaxy combined," she said in between the laughter. He chuckled and leaned towards her as if to share a secret. "Truth be told, I don't care how the cakes are made. I just don't want to be running this sort of errand." "I understand, and you can be sure no one will know you came here to order the cake," Ada whispered. So what's the occasion? She asked. It's my parents' 40th wedding anniversary next month. But they said, now excited. Wow, that's amazing. Ada said, her eyes lit up. So what are your theme, budget, and the color code for the anniversary? She asked just as someone opened the door behind her with a phone ringing. Your phone is ringing, ma, she said, extending the phone to Ada. Thank you, Comfort. Oh, is that Miss C? Please excuse me, Mr. Bode. Resumed talking to the person on the phone. Almost immediately, she turned swiftly to glance at Bode like she was seeing him for the first time. She waved her free hand curiously to Bode, who shrugged and grinned. Really? I had no idea it was your brother, she continued. I was just about to attend to him. I will do so right now. She disconnected the call. Why didn't I get the clue when you mentioned your parents' 40th wedding anniversary? She sighed. Mr. Bode, please sit. Let me get the catalog, she said, pointing to the couch. She went to search the shelf drawers by the receptionist's desk, and Bode glanced at his watch and quickly realized it was late for an appointment. He needed to leave now. Ada moved to where Bode was. She sat at the extreme end of the chair, opened one of the catalogs, and placed it in between them on the seat before turning to face him. Bode stared at the pages of the catalog, feeling exhausted by the sheer number of beautiful photos. He already knew he would have a hard time choosing one as he eyed the remaining two catalogs sitting on Ada's laps. Wait, madam, he called out in frustration. The name is Ada, she interjected. Okay, Ada. No, it's Ada, not Ada. It's Ada with L at the end, she corrected him. Sorry about that, he said, glancing at his watch. But I have to get out of here in the next 15 minutes for a meeting in Kuto, he said, closing the catalog. Please, can you just pick a nice cake for my parents? No, I can't, she was firm. But why are women like this? First it's my sisters, now you. To be honest, I have no idea how a cake should be in terms of design, theme, color, other than eating. Why bother me with having to choose? He was exhausted. Because it's your parents' big day, and it's only once in a lifetime. And also, you live in Abeokuta. Your sisters trust you to do the right thing, she replied. Okay, Ada, I can call you that, right? Feeling abashed and his face flushed. She nodded. Please just help me. They both stared at each other for a moment. Okay, let's do this. Tell me a little about your parents. Although I've met them once at Damis's wedding. I made a wedding cake, but that was years ago. Really? That cake was nice. I mean the taste and design. I can barely remember it vividly now, though, he said with a grin. Thank you. So share with me. What are their favorite colors? You can share their values and stuff like that. My dad was in the military, and mom retired as a teacher. Mom loves red and appears tougher than dad. Dad isn't tough, but he's not as expressive with his feelings as mom. He was smiling the whole time. I hope that helps. Ada nodded, but was busy chewing a corner of her lips in thoughts. She snapped her fingers suddenly and then unlocked her phone and started scrolling through. Okay, see this, she said, showing him a two-layered cake in light green and yellow. I will make your parents' cake army green with gold dust around this first base and red butterflies cascading down one side. We will attach the 40th topper on the cake. It will be brilliant and pleasing to the eyes, I assure you. She was excited. I'm sure it will. Meanwhile, my sister said it should just be plain vanilla because the older generations prefer that. But they said, bringing her out of her reverie. Kindly send the photos to my phone so I can forward it to my sisters. Better still, send 4 photos so I can say I chose the one you selected. I can't come and kill myself. He was laughing. She was amused. You should be used to it by now, seeing you are the only guy amongst them. I'm not used to it, and I don't think I will ever be. Anyways, I will go with your recommendation. After all, you are the professional here. They exchanged numbers as she sent him the pictures of the cakes on WhatsApp. Please let me get a pen and paper. Ada stood and Sue returned with the same. She scribbled some things down, and as Bode peeped at the paper, he was sure she must have been a medical student as her writing wasn't legible. She quickly closed the book when she noticed he was peeping. Wow, you don't come cheap, he exclaimed after she had issued the printed invoice she produced from the computer at the front desk. No, I don't. But I come highly recommended, she said, at which they both laughed. I need to inform my ladies. I'll surely get back to you. But come, when Damisi has your number, why didn't she give it to me so that I could have just called instead of coming all the way here? She wanted you to come all the way here and see things for yourself, Ada said, leading to another round of laughter. Thanks so much, Ada. And you may call me Bode. Leave out the mister. He stood and Ada walked him to the door. Thank you so much. And sorry about the delay earlier, Ada said. Oh, that's fine now. Thank you and do enjoy the rest of your day, he said and opened the door. Wait, he exclaimed as she turned back. Do you do catering services? I could just do everything with one outfit and save myself the stress. But they asked, no, I don't, but I can recommend some very good caterers. Ah, thank you. You're a lifesaver. I will forward the numbers to you on WhatsApp, she said as they bade each other farewell. But they turned into the gas plant in Okemoson after his meeting with the baker and the management staff of the Rocky hotels. He knew he had several messages, especially from his sisters. He parked his van and walked to the office area of the plant. He waved in response to the greetings from staff in the plant area. Opening the door to the spacious office that was his haven, he dropped into the single armchair in the sitting area. He rubbed his forehead with a thumb and forefinger gently for some minutes. He let out air from his mouth and picked up his phone from the table where he had dropped it with a bunch of keys. He checked his emails and then proceeded to the WhatsApp where his sisters had left him a dozen messages. He quickly replied to all their questions and then dropped the 4 pictures Ada sent. What sort of name is that anyway? Which tribe was she from? He thought. He stood and went to his desk, opened his laptop and got to work on the laptop. The meeting with the management staff of the Rocky hotels was progressing quite well. They should sign off the contract by next week. He had worked tirelessly on the project for almost 2 years. It was a good thing he wasn't one to easily give up. Nigerians are not people who adapt to changes quickly or easily. From a young age, he had been in love with science and always sought how it can be used to change lives positively. After his first degree in biochemistry, he had gone to the UK for his master's and had majored in environmental engineering and had always nursed the idea of converting waste to generate light. When he returned some 3 years ago, he had written proposals on how he could help organizations generate their electricity using human waste, but met with a lot of stumbling blocks. His stay in Lagos saw him marketing the idea from one organization to the other, but later returned to Abeokuta after divine instructions. One day, he visited a farm and was amazed at the amount of waste that was generated on it. He began a research and quickly observed that it was a pattern with all the farms in the area. He hosted a program thereafter for farmers on the benefits of waste management and conversion. But the turnout was low and only one farmer had signed him up at the end of the program to build a biodigester on his farm. It was a novel innovation in the area and the first. With much prayer, the idea of a biogas jumped at him, which propelled him into action. He started his own biogas plant some 9 months later, making him the first biogas plant in Abeokuta. The setup was a tough call to make, but was worth it. He kept expanding by selling the ideas to caterers, restaurants, hospitals, and several companies. And today, he was about to sign his biggest deal with the Rocky hotels. They will be building a biogas plant in their premises using waste from the restaurants. God is good, Bode exclaimed as he finished inputting the data of his meeting on his laptop. He checked his sister's messages on WhatsApp and quickly replied to all the questions. He couldn't wait for the anniversary to be over with, so he could have his life back. His sisters were a thorn in his flesh.